Hello and welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's December 24th, 2020, and this is episode 60. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing recommendations, commentary, and reviews about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do this thing. We actually have some new movies in theaters opening up on Christmas Day tomorrow. Go figure. So 3 major Hollywood releases are happening tomorrow. First up is the drama called News of the World. This is from Universal Pictures. It's directed by Paul Greengrass. It actually reunites Paul Greengrass with actor Tom Hanks. They worked together last in the 2013 film Captain Phillips, which is an excellent movie. If you haven't had a chance to see that, that's a very gripping, interesting film. This film is set in the post Civil War era, and it's about a veteran who's played by Tom Hanks, who's a widower, and he travels around. He's a storyteller, and he meets this young woman. Actually, she's a young girl. Sorry, she's 10 years old, and she has been living with the Kiowa people, and she's going to get reunited with her aunt and uncle against her will. So this veteran, played by Hanks, agrees to deliver the child where the law says she belongs. And as they travel the hundreds of miles into the unforgiving wilderness, the two will face tremendous challenges of both human and natural forces as they search for a place that either of them can call home. So, anyway, it's based on a novel by Paulette Giles, and it looks to me like it could be a potentially very interesting film. And again, yay hooray that we've got a new movie opening up in the theaters. News of the World is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for violence, disturbing images, thematic material, and some language. Also opening up in theaters is the drama Promising Young Woman. This is from Focus Features, and from visionary director Emerald Fennell comes a delicious new take on revenge. Everyone said Cassie, who is played by Carey Mulligan, was a promising young woman, hence the title, until a mysterious event abruptly derailed her future. But nothing in Cassie's life is what it appears to be. She's wickedly smart, tantalizingly cunning, and she's living a secret double life by night. Now, an unexpected encounter is about to give Cassie a chance to right the wrongs of the past in this thrilling and wildly entertaining story. This looks, of course, pretty edgy. It's rated R by the Motion Picture Association for strong violence, including sexual assault, language throughout, some sexual material, and drug use. Just what you want to go see on Christmas Day. So, Promising Young Woman, also another option. I think probably the biggest film opening up in theaters, starting tomorrow, is Wonder Woman 1984, which is a sequel. This also is going to be debuting on the HBO Max streaming service. So this is the first film that's following this Warner Brothers model, that all their films, between now and the end of 2021 are going to open up on the same day, both in the movie theaters and on HBO Max. So, big controversial within the film distribution world, but it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. So, anyway, back to Wonder Woman 1984. This film, it stars Gal Gadot again as Wonder Woman. Directed by Patty Jenkins again. She's back from she directed the original Wonder Woman film from 2017. It's got some new characters. So Kristen Wiig plays the Cheetah. Pedro Pascal plays Max Lord. And so I'm thinking that they're the villains. Again, don't know yet. Haven't seen it. Chris Pine is back in it as Steve Trevor. And then we've got Robin Wright and Connie Nelson also rounding out the cast. Patty Jenkins, as I mentioned, is back in the director's chair, and she also co-wrote the screenplay. And so, anyway, we'll see if Warner Brothers 1984 delivers like the film did in 2017. So some new films in theaters for you and your family to mask up and venture out on Christmas weekend. So new on streaming platforms are some films I think that might be worthy of your time and consideration. I have not seen any of these films, so I can't attest to them, but they sound like they might be interesting, and I think I'm going to add them to my list of what to watch over the holiday. First up is a film that's been playing for a few weeks, but it's called Sound of Metal. And it's from Amazon Studios, and it's playing on the Amazon Prime Video streaming service. So, if you have Amazon Prime shipping, you're also eligible for this Amazon Prime Video, streaming service, and they're putting out a lot of content on it. And so, this Sound of Metal tells the story of a punk rock drummer who's played by Riz Ahmed, who begins to experience hearing loss. And so this film supposedly uses some really innovative sound design techniques and really takes the audience on quite a personal ride as this drummer who lives a pretty adrenaline-fueled life has to reevaluate things as he's losing his hearing. So anyway, that I think has some pretty good reviews, and Sound of Metal sounds interesting. It's rated R by the Motion Picture Association for language throughout and some brief nude images. Next up is a film on Netflix, which looks interesting too. It's called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It's based on August Wilson's play of the same title, and it's about the blues singer named Ma Rainey. In this film, she's played by Viola Davis. And it's focused on a recording session, and Chadwick Boseman's in it. I think it's one of his final film roles, if not the final film role, and goes through, I guess, just a tension-filled experience between, Ma Rainey, her band, and her management team, who's all a bunch of white guys, and they're determined to control the legendary Mother of the Blues. So Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is rated R by the Motion Picture Association for language, some sexual content, and brief violence. And again, that's now streaming on Netflix. I'm also really excited on Christmas Day. We get to see the latest feature film from Pixar Animation Studios. I've talked about it. This is Soul. And so Pixar's giving us a gift. If you've got Disney Plus, you're going to be able to watch Soul without any additional fees on Disney Plus, and they're not playing in theaters right now, which again is a bummer, but can understand where they're coming from on this. So again, Pixar's given us a gift. If you haven't seen the trailer, Soul is one of those Pixar films that looks like it's pretty heady. It focuses on the question, what is it that makes you, you? And it focuses on a guy named Joe Gardner, who is voiced by Jamie Foxx. He's a middle school band teacher who gets a chance of a lifetime to play at the best jazz club in town, but he ends up, looks like he dies. He has an accident and he dies, and he goes Um, anyway, there's some kind of like, looks like it focuses on pre-life and afterlife, and uh, you know, how Joe really wants to get back to his life. To me, it looks like almost the Pixar version of the classic film Here Comes Mr. Jordan, as well as one of his great remakes, Heaven Can Wait. The stars Warren Beatty. I don't know if you've seen one of those films, but those are definitely worth checking out. It's directed by Academy Award winner Pete Docter. Pete Docter directed Inside Out and Up. And let's not talk about those movies. They're so good. Co-directed by the writer Kemp Powers. And anyway, it looks like it's going to be terrific. Soul, let's hope. Soul is rated PG by the Motion Picture Association for thematic elements and some language. So anyway, lots of options to check out over the next, and then also, as I already mentioned, Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be streaming on HBO Max too. So lots to check out on streaming platforms this holiday weekend. In this month's edition of my 3-by series, where I talk about 3 films from one specific director, the director I picked is Robert Wise. Now, Robert Wise was born in 1914. He died in 2005. He's an American film director, producer, and he got his start in the movie business by being an editor. And he won 2 Academy Awards for Best Director and for Best Picture. He's probably best known as the director of the film The Sound of Music from 1965, which I'm sure is a film we've all seen probably multiple times. I know it's a film that I really love. The 3 films that I want to talk about from his career, well, I guess just a little more background on Robert Wise. As I mentioned, he started his career as being a film editor, and one of his first films that he edited was Citizen Kane. Holy smokes. That was from 1941, directed by Orson Welles. Amazing, that he worked on that film. And he learned a lot of really great, of course, filmmaking techniques, working on that project too, since Orson Welles was doing a lot of interesting stuff with lighting and camera work, etc. But he got into directing, and one of the things I really like about Robert Wise is his films are really varied in the types of genres that he worked on. He did science fiction and just kind of dramas. Of course, these big musicals that were remarkable, and some thrillers. Just a lot of really interesting stuff. So he's a director that I really admire. So the 3 films that I'd like to talk about of his first up is a drama called Executive Suite. I saw this on Turner Classic Movies, and it's a really interesting. It's a corporate drama and a family drama about a family-run business, and the leader dies suddenly, and then it just kind of goes behind the scenes about the dynamics of the people working for the company, the family, etc., to see who's going to replace him. So this film has a powerhouse cast. It was made in 1954. filmed in black and white, but it stars William Holden, June Allison, Barbara Stanwyck, Frederick March, Walter Pidgeon, Shelley Winters, Dean Yeager. I mean, at Nina Foch. I mean, this list goes on and on. In fact, Nina Foch, she won an Academy Award for her a best supporting actor role in it, and it's well deserved. She was awfully good in it. Part of it, of course, is just this incredible ensemble cast, and then just this really interesting story about the dynamics of kind of corporate politics. And so I'm really quite taken with the Executive Suite. It is on the rotation on Turner Classic Movies, so that could be a spot to check it out. And I think also, of course, you could rent it some other place if you wanted to. But Executive Suite from 1954. The next film of Robert Wise's that I want to talk about is the great film adaptation of the Broadway show West Side Story. This also, he won an Academy Award. Robert Wise won an Academy Award for Best Director, and it also won for Best Picture that year. And I think many consider it as just one of the best musical films ever made, and I would concur. I think it's absolutely a brilliant adaptation of it, and so well crafted. Robert Wise co-directed it. I guess basically co-directed it with Jerome Robbins, who's the renowned choreographer, and you can really tell that they I think in so many ways are working together, particularly the way the camera films those dancing sequences, and they did so much great location shooting there in New York City, as well as stuff on sound stages, but just masterfully filmed and put together. Just an interesting side note, Steven Spielberg has remade West Side Story, and it was supposed to be released this month, in fact, in theaters, and it's been pushed out a year. And it's one of those films. I'm just not sure that that West Side Story needs to be remade. Although I am excited to see a new interpretation of it, just because I think the themes of it are so timely, and it's just got some of my all-time favorite music. So West Side Story is just an absolutely brilliant film, directed by Robert Wise. The last one I want to talk about, and it's one I believe I've talked about on a previous podcast before, but it's Star Trek the Motion Picture. So Star Trek started as a TV series in the 60s, and then finally there was enough traction. This film was released in 1979, but this was a film, bringing the TV cast together and putting them in a feature film. I remember seeing this film as a kid, and I was bored out of my mind. But watching it as an adult and seeing it through more, again, just more adult eyes, and hopefully eyes that appreciate more the craft of filmmaking, I'm just not quite taken with it. I think Robert Wise brought just a really interesting sensibility to Star Trek, and I don't know if it necessarily captures what Star Trek was as a television series. That's more left to, which I think is the best film in the Star Trek filmography, which is their second film, The Wrath of Khan. But still, regardless, for Robert Wise to direct this really kind of heady and artistic sci-fi film, on a rewatch, I was really quite taken with it. So again, the plot's pretty. out there. I mean, it's Star Trek, but William Shatner's back, and Leonard Nimoy as William Shatner back as Captain Kirk. Leonard Nimoy's back as Spock. I mean, everybody's DeForest Kelley as Dr. McCoy, James Doohan as Scotty, George Takei as Sulu, Walter Koenig as Chekhov, Nichelle Nichols as Uhura. Also, it's got the add-on of Stephen Collins and as Decker, and Persis Kambata as kind of a key character in this interesting, and I just find it really a beautifully shot and crafted film. So Star Trek: The Motion Picture from 1979. So anyway, those are my three by Robert Wise. But I'll have a link in the podcast and also my blog to his filmography. And honestly, I think there's so many films of his that you could check out that you might enjoy learning about and experiencing some of his great body of work. One final note is that Turner Classic Movies has announced their Big Screen Classics series for 2021, and they've got a really interesting lineup as they are wont to do, and films that really run the gamut of genre and decade. And so they're opening up with a bang, starting near January. It's going to be playing on January 24th and January 27th. And again, I'll have a link to this on the podcast and also my blog, so you can go to their website. But the first up is The Maltese Falcon. This film is celebrating its 80th anniversary. But Humphrey Bogart stars as the private detective Sam Spade, and it's just one of the greats. So I'm excited to see. I'm not sure I've ever seen The Maltese Falcon on the big screen. So that's happening in January. Next up is a 30th anniversary screening of Boys in the Hood, and this was really a terrific film, directed by the late John Singleton. This is going to be in theaters on February 28th and on March 3rd, and so looking forward to that. They're going to be showing Cecil B. DeMille's great epic, The Ten Commandments. They often try to do when it's on some kind of an anniversary. It's the 65th anniversary of The Ten Commandments, so they're going to be showing that on March 28th and March 31st. So that's going to be kind of like an Easter ish type thing. The next films that the rest of these films, they don't necessarily have dates for yet. But I'll just read the lineup to you, and again, you can go to the website, and I'll be talking about these in future podcasts too. But they've got La Bamba coming up, which is the autobiographical pick about Richie Valens. Fried Green Tomatoes, which looks like I think it's the 30th anniversary of. The Birdcage, which stars Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, Gene Hackman and Diane Wiest. The African Queen with Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which is the 1970s film starring Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. Speaking of Robert Wise, Citizen Kane is going to be also on the big screen again. With through this Turner Classic Movie series, and I'm excited about that because I think maybe I've seen Citizen Kane on the big screen once, but it's definitely worth it. The absolute horrifying film Silence of the Lambs, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary. Also, speaking of Robert Wise, it's 60th anniversary screening of West Side Story. And if you've never seen that on the big screen, that's just absolutely worth it. And I'm excited about that. And that also just given the way they've placed it on the website, I wonder if that's going to be kind of November-ish or December. So we might have two versions of West Side Story on the screen within close proximity of each other. Again, hopefully Steven Spielberg's version can be released next year too. And then the final one they've listed is the great family drama On Golden Pond, which stars Henry Fonda and his daughter, a film he made with his daughter Jane Fonda. Katharine Hepburn's in it too. So really a varied and interesting lineup from Turner Classic Movies, as typically they do, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see some of these great films on the big screen in 2021. Well, that does it for this episode of the Movies Past and Present podcast. Again, links and more information about the movies discussed in today's podcast can be found in the podcast notes on my blog at moviespastandpresent.com. Subscribe to the Movies Past and Present podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Links are also on the blog. And please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm at moviespap, as in past and present. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you enjoy some good movies this week, whether they be from the past or the present.
Bye.